Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Soulful Conversation with Frank and
Sheila Battle.
It's Soulful Conversations, where we serve up candid conversations about love, marriage, wellness, and so much more.
So much more. So much to talk about.
How's everybody doing?
We hope everyone is doing well. We hope that you and your families are safe and taking good care of yourselves and each other. I don't know where all of y'all live, but we are in Virginia, and it is going down in the VA.
Yeah.
We got monuments coming down and protesters and all kinds of stuff is happening.
Did we have a storm today and lost power?
And lost power.
Got to go out in the yard and cut up some tree limbs. And
yes, all of that. It's just so much going on.
So much.
It's just so much going on. But we are grateful to be well, grateful to be healthy. Grateful to be gainfully employed.
Yes. Hallelujah.
Yes, and grateful to have this opportunity to come back and share with you guys.
Yes, because we look forward to doing this, to reaching out to each of you. And we hope that you all are enjoying this, hearing this as much as we are enjoying doing it.
Yes, because we have a good time.
Yeah, we have a great partnership with you all. So we want to get right into today's podcast. This is a brainchild of my wife.
Well, it was birthed out of a very authentic place. I feel like the quarantine has created space for some very interesting conversations. And not that we don't have interesting conversations on the ready, but I think the slower pace of life and the having less to do has created more space for some constructive conversations. And just so that we can go ahead and get it out of the way, we have received several requests to comment on Will and Jada.
And August.
And we have intentionally decided not to do that because those are grown people.
And that ain't our business.
We're going to sit over here and mind our business. I saw something today that talked about there's a difference between cheating and polyamory. Polyamory, is that how you say it? And regardless of, where you fall in the spectrum of thought about all of that, here's what's true. Your energy can be used to do something better.
Wow.
The energy, when I think about how much energy has been given to these people who you don't know, who don't know you, who really don't care what you think, and who have already done the deed, it's just a little interesting to think about it from that perspective. Like, these people really don't care about what all of us think about their personal business, because that's exactly what it is.
And so
it's their business.
And that's all we're going to say about that.
Yes, that's all we're going to say about that. So what we want to get on here and talk about is other conversation starters, opportunities for you to have a soulful conversation with your spouse. And so some of the things that cause this are the fact that we've been sheltering in place, the quarantine, and even today when the power went out. So if the power went out and you have no power and no Wi-Fi, what do you and your mate do? What do y'all talk about? So this is what do I have? 5. I have 5 questions to ask your mate. 5 conversation starters. We're not going to call them quarantine conversation starters, because I think the whole idea around quarantine is like getting on everybody's nerves. So these are just conversation starters. So whether you are sitting at dinner, whether you are getting ready for bed at night, which is when Frank and I have the funniest conversations. It's when we have, but it's when we have some of the most real conversations too. Is we lay down, everybody, the house is quiet, we go to bed, and then it usually starts with some random question that I ask him, and then he feels obligated to answer. And so then we're in a conversation till 2:00 in the morning.
So random.
So random. So, are you ready?
What you got?
Number 1, conversation starters for you and your mate. What favorite activity have we discovered or rediscovered during the pandemic?
Am I supposed to answer that?
Yes, I would like to know your answer.
Oh my goodness. Say it again.
What favorite activity have we discovered or rediscovered during the pandemic?
Favorite activity. Favorite activity.
Come on, Farmer Frank.
No, you didn't. Okay.
This shouldn't have been that hard.
So the thing that she's referring to as Farmer Frank is we have taken up gardening. Yeah, and I had a lot to do with that. Mm-hmm. But we have taken up gardening, and we have learned how to construct raised beds.
Mm-hmm.
We got cucumbers, and
Trinity mm-hmm. and I just finished off our first mm-hmm. cucumber from our garden. It was magnificent.
We had Georgia collards, kale,
red collards.
We had beets, some other stuff.
We have basil that we're drying right now.
Yeah, we had, and right now we're kind of nothing's really out there because we kind of harvested a lot of stuff. But the cucumbers are still coming through, and the tomatoes are coming as well. So. Yeah, we had tomatoes too. So
yes.
So yeah, that's it. That kind of came like that just happened.
It's time to do the fall planting for potatoes and sweet potatoes.
Yeah, in a couple of weeks. Yeah.
Yeah. So we harvested everything that we grew and we ate it. Mm-hmm. We absolutely ate it. Yeah, and it's you feel a little bit of pride to eat something that you grew and you didn't have to go through to the grocery store to get. Yeah. So
because Trinity loved that cucumber.
Yeah. So we got a couple of more. We got a couple of more
cucumbers
coming.
Straight out the backyard. So yeah, that was it.
Gardening. So question number 1 for these conversations with your
mate. Were you supposed to answer that too?
Oh, so my favorite activity that we discovered or rediscovered during the pandemic, honestly, was walking. Because I think before, like I would jump up and I would walk by myself. And we had time during this pandemic where you walked with me. And I actually prefer when we walk together than when I walk by myself.
Yeah.
So I would say that since the gardening was your thing.
Yeah, we had conversations out there too.
Yeah, we had good conversations out there and took pictures and did all kinds of stuff. So I would say walking. And it's good exercise. And we're so sedentary that being able to get up and get in, 2 or 3 miles was always a good thing. Okay. Number 2.
I didn't know anything.
Huh?
Nothing.
I'm going to hear it on the replay, right?
I know you are.
Okay. He said something crazy, y'all. Okay, so number 2. These are questions that you can ask your mate. They're conversation starters, okay? So here's question number 2. What is your favorite memory of us?
Favorite memory? Mine is a little, I won't call it unorthodox, but my favorite memory is when we are riding to our destination and we're in the car.
Alone or with the kids?
And alone. Like when we went out to the Urbana Festival or when we drive
to the Oyster Festival,
or to other things like that. It's those times when we're in the car.
It's just me and you.
Yeah, and us in the car and the conversations that we had.
Oh, boo, that's so sweet.
She wasn't ready.
I wasn't ready. But that's so good. Oh, yeah. I feel a little sentimental in my heart about that. That was good. I guess you want me to answer this.
Sure.
My favorite memory of us. And I had it, and then you made me lose it saying that because that was so sweet. My favorite memory of us. You know what? It's not one. My favorite memory of us is when we dream together.
Yeah.
Like that makes me high. Like when we start talking out loud about our future and what we see and what we want for us. It does something to my heart when we dream together, when we dream out loud together. Because it's one thing for you to be in your corner or doing your thing and going, oh, this would be a good idea. Or, oh, I can see us here or I can see us there. And it's another thing when I do it. But when we come together and do it, I think it's magic.
So it's dream out loud.
When we dream out loud.
Yeah.
That's my favorite memory of us. Okay. So, you didn't mess me up. That was so sweet what you said. We so corny. Look, our kids be like, y'all so corny. Okay. Conversation starters for you and your mate. Number 3. What do you miss the most about our life before the pandemic?
It ties into what I just said. The ability to travel, go
the
places.
Ability to just go.
I mean, we kind of
shut it down.
Shut down, and it's just we've talked about possibly going places, but we always kind of keep it close.
I think we talk about going places, and then we hear a sad story. Mm-hmm. Like we literally got a sad story before we came on, and that every time I think, okay, we're gonna, then it's like, nope. Yeah. That's why we not. We just gonna stay here and we gonna hang out. And again, and I mean, we've said this on other podcasts. Thank God we like each other and we like our kids and our kids like us. Because what is this, 10 weeks now? This has just been 10 weeks of sheltering in place and, doing the bare minimum as it relates to going out. And we're not sick of each other. We're just genuinely not sick of each other.
It's like our dad said to me today when we were talking. He was like, son, now is not a good time to try to expand your friend circle.
Right. But you know what? I think we have expanded our friend circle just in a different way. Right. So like we've done some events that have blossomed into us having some pretty cool relationships with people that probably wouldn't have happened any other way.
And so did those are virtual?
Those are virtual. Yes, we have virtual. We've done virtual events and so, it's been good. It's been interesting the way that we've connected with people even during this season of pandemic. I think the thing I miss the most about our life before the pandemic is our house being open.
Yeah, that's a part of it too.
Whew. I mean, and that's right up there with hugging people. Mm-hmm. Like, even when we run into people, like we've been in the grocery store and run into people we used to go to church with or used to work with, and everything in me wants to go over and hug them. And it's like, you can't. So, I think I miss, like, it's July by now. We'd have had 20 kids over here doing something.
And it's just like I was
cookout, movie night, something.
Like I was reminded.
Geez.
Remember a couple of weeks ago, we had a couple of kids come by, and they were like, "We wish we could be in the backyard. We're supposed to be in the backyard, but we can't be. We could, but we can't."
Yeah,
they were actually trying to convince us to do that, but we like, no,
and we didn't, and the way the numbers keep rising just makes you that much more cautious. But I miss our babies. I miss movie night and hot dogs on the grill. Not that we eat hot dogs, but the kids eat hot dogs. I miss that, and I miss them being here and not wanting to go home. Just begging their moms and crying and saying, please, please, please let me spend the night. Like, I miss that. Okay. So number 1 was, what is your favorite activity, or what favorite activity have we discovered or rediscovered during the pandemic? What is your favorite memory? of us. And number 3 was, what do you miss the most about our life from before the pandemic? So those are the first 3. The next question is, what surprise have you learned about yourself during the pandemic?
It would have to be that whole gardening thing. The green thumb gardening. Like now we have flowers on the deck.
Because we kill everything.
Yeah, before the pandemic.
Before the pandemic, we killed everything. We killed hostas. Yeah. And you're not even supposed to be able to kill those.
But now we got like
flowers and
stuff on the growing on the deck. And like even before, like it was so crazy because what I learned, like I was, we had time and we were watching, videos and reading stuff. And Sheila's so funny because I bought like what's called like oh my God, it just escaped. It's like a grow light. So I bought like this grow light to help my seeds grow.
How many did you buy?
I bought 2 grow lights for the seeds, and I also used a light that I had, the shop light. So
that makes 3.
So Sheila's like, she comes in the garage and she goes, why does it look like a meth lab?
Right. So my biggest concern was that somebody was going to ride past our house and see all of these purple, white, blue lights and go, they cooking meth over there. And we was going to have a knock on the door from the police.
So that was a surprise. The fact that all of that actually worked and we
turned into something.
Transition that out to the backyard and to grow into all of that wonderful stuff that we were able to eat. So that was my surprise.
Okay, what surprise have I learned about myself? I learned that I could survive without having all those people around. Like I really thought that it was so much a part of my DNA that I'm a consummate extrovert. I mean, I just am. And just not being able to connect and be with people, not really sure about how I would manage that mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Like when you're such a communal person, like to have to shut it off with no warning, no prep, no nothing, just shut it down.
Because honestly, that was my concern for you. Because wow, how long will she be able to manage?
Like I'm gonna go nuts if I can't be with some people.
And then the proof of that, like you just said a few minutes ago, the proof of that would come when we'd be in the grocery store and you run into somebody. And you would always say this, like, I want to hug you so bad, but I can't. And I'm like, whoa.
Because I really do.
Yeah.
It's not even like for show or just to be saying it. Like my arms just automatically go out and go up like I want to. I think I'm going to give you 2. I think the other thing I learned about myself is that I can watch TV.
Oh. More than HGTV, right?
You got me watching some stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just like, usually the dynamic is Frank finds a show. He likes the show. I'm in my iPad. I'm not actually watching it. I'm not actually paying attention. I can't tell you how many times Frank says, ooh, babe, look at this. And I'm like, like I could care less. But, and I literally could care less. But I can watch TV and have watched TV. We've caught some really good series and I jumped in it like and was hollering at the TV and everything. It ain't something that's gonna stick.
But most of that is like Netflix stuff.
Yeah.
There's a few shows on TV you watch with like Bull and SEAL Team and some other ones.
And then those Netflix things like what's it called? Nightfall and what's the show? Queen of the South.
Yeah, Queen of the South.
Like I've watched all that stuff and it's been amazing. So I learned that I could watch TV.
Yeah.
I could put a book down and watch TV.
Get some popcorn and place it.
Get some popcorn and watch a show with my husband.
Put some hot sauce on the popcorn.
Put some hot sauce. You can't tell the people that we put the hot sauce. Okay, we put hot sauce on popcorn. Anyway, so that's number 4. Number 5 is, what are you afraid of? Because fear has been a big part of this experience the last 10 months. And whether it's fear that you already had and it got watered because of everything that was going on, or whether you were footloose and fancy free, and then because of all of this, you recognize that you have feelings of fear. What are you afraid of? I think that's a powerful conversation to have with your mate. You want to answer that, Mr. Frank? Something you're afraid of?
You know, I guess it's the husband, father, brother, uncle, which is fun, uncle, all those things that I am. It's, you know, with this COVID-19, this pandemic, the people that I love, you know, someone getting the virus. And, you know, we've had some people in our circle to get it. And
people we love.
People we love. And we know.
We've had people we love die.
Yeah. We know how hard it can be on the people who don't die. And what they go through and what they're still going through.
Yeah.
You know, the battery of tests and follow up they have to do now. And so for me, it's like, man, I just like, please don't let anybody. I mean, you know, you don't want anyone to get it, but you know, that's my thing. You know, it's just like the people around you that you love and you've been interacting with frequently before this hit to now have to face the possibility, because you know we're always telling everyone to be careful. You know what you're doing, what are you doing, why are you there? You know, and so that.
Why are you going out?
Yeah, it's tough. It's really, really tough. So that for me, that's what I would answer that question.
So I purposefully didn't attach the pandemic or COVID-19 to this question, and I'm glad that. I mean, I'm not glad, but I'm grateful that you pulled that into your answer. But right now, there's a lot going on regarding racial tension in our nation, in our neighborhood. And I feel like my biggest fear right now is that we miss the moment and don't get it. This is an incredible. I heard someone say today that this is the civil rights movement reborn. And there are so many opportunities for us to have soulful conversations with people of the same race and people of a different race that could really bring about unity and healing. And I'm so afraid that we're going to be so busy quoting sound bites that we miss the moment of being able to have transformative dialogue. I mean, that's a fear. That's a huge fear. Like, how many more people have to die? How many more horrific situations do we have to have? And how many opportunities are people going to take to ignore this opportunity to grow, to be stretched, to be uncomfortable? And I mean, you and I have conversations every day about interesting things that happen with coworkers and happen with people we know. And there's so much opportunity to heal. There's so much opportunity to really have the kind of conversation that moves the needle, as opposed to just having a conversation so that you can check the box and say that you did it. And it is uncomfortable. And I don't have a problem with saying that a lot of what's going on is just as uncomfortable for people of color as it is for white people. And I think that there's been so much attention, or so much, not attention, there's been so much focus on white people getting it, that there is opportunity for us to heal, whether they get it or not. And I don't want us to miss it. I just don't want us to miss it. There's some soulful conversations that we need to have as a people, as people of color, that would move the needle in our own communities, that would help us move better in the world, you know, show up with our gifts better in the world. And I would hate for Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and all of the other names. I would hate for all of that to be in vain. And we not really take advantage of the opportunity that's been set before us. Because, we say all the time that once we dive into healing, inner work, grace, that we can be an expression of that for somebody else. And I just want us to do that. Like, can we do the inner work and do the inner healing and do that work, the work of love and forgiveness inside for ourselves amongst each other before we demand it of somebody else? Yeah. And so one more time, the questions are, what favorite activity have we discovered or rediscovered during the pandemic? What is your favorite memory of us? Which always is a beautiful question to ask because it takes you down memory lane. Mm-hmm. And while the present might be hard for some people, reminiscing might be the cure, right? What do you miss the most about your life from before the pandemic? I think is a powerful question too, because there's a way to connect the dots to where you are right now, mm-hmm. right? What surprise have you learned about yourself? And you know what? To take that a step further, you could ask, what surprise have you learned about each other? Mm. It's one thing for you to say what you've learned, and then it's another thing for your spouse or your mate, your partner, to share with you what they've learned about you just through, observation and being up close and personal with you during these last 10 weeks or 12 weeks. And then we ended with a pretty heavy question, but it's important because if you can't share your fears with the person you love the most, I would check that relationship. At some point you ought to be able to have a conversation and you ought to be able to say, babe, I'm just scared. Yeah. I'm scared about COVID. I'm scared about the racial tension. Wives, it's okay to say to your spouse, I'm scared about you leaving. You walk out that door, there's no guarantee, that you just gonna come back, And while there might not be, literal things to be afraid of, there's all of this noise that we're hearing, and there's all of these stories that we're hearing, and that's enough to cause and create fear in the heart. And so, family, we just want y'all to keep the conversation going. Don't let anything about what's happening on the planet keep you from having a soulful conversation with the one you love the most.
Yeah. Yeah. And especially in these conversations, and you mentioned the last question about fear. Excuse me. It's a no judgment zone.
Absolutely.
It is to be real with one another and honest. It will do you so. It will relieve so much, tension and stress, and anxiety is something that a lot of people are dealing with right now.
Through the roof these days,
and it will help with some of those anxieties. As Sheila mentioned, the husband having to go out, even the wife having to go out.
Now we understand people have to work. Yeah. We understand you got to go to the grocery store, you got to put gas in your car. Daily living must continue. We're not saying that all of those things still don't have to happen. What we are saying is that in the most intimate relationship of your life, you should be able to share your fears and concerns non-judgmentally. Yeah. That's what we're saying. Yes. It doesn't mean that you still don't go to work. It doesn't mean, well, I can't listen to her saying all of that. A brother gotta work. We gotta eat, da 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 da. We're not saying that. What we're saying is that it is an act of compassion. Mm-hmm. It is an act of grace, and it is an act of empathy for you to create a space safe enough for her to say, or for him to say, what their fears are non-judgmentally. Right. That's what we're trying to convey. Exactly. And so these conversations aren't meant to be a directive. It's just an idea. If you're going to be in the house together, like today, like I said, this got sparked because the power went out. Mm-hmm. Like the power went out and it was like, okay. And we don't say, okay, well, we ain't got nothing else to do. Let's talk. Like, that's not how it happens at the battle station. We're pretty we do a lot of communication, and we don't have a lot of troubles with that, whether it be our kids or with each other. But it just made sense to hop on and say, if you're in the house and you're running out of things to talk about, and silence is speaking louder than the both of you, then maybe you can use these questions to engage in a soulful conversation with each other.
We hope you enjoy.
Yeah, family, go. First of all, hug who you can. You know what I mean? Just hug each other and hold on to each other and look each other in the eye and tell each other that you love each other and that you matter and that you are grateful.
Yes.
That each of you is healthy and well, and that you're still together. And so we want you to take these 5 questions into consideration. And if you have an interesting question that you want to add to this list, feel free to contact us at info@thebattlestation.org. We'd love to share your questions. These questions were just ones that we kind of came up with off the cuff. They didn't come from necessarily anywhere. They were inspired, of course, but there are some things that you all might be having soulful conversations about that would encourage and enlighten us. And we would love to share them with this audience. So if you've had a soulful conversation with your love and or your partner, and you want to expand that conversation, let us know.
And on that note, we want to thank everyone. We sent out a survey.
Yes, we did.
And we want to thank everyone who sent us, though. We have not forgotten those many suggestions that you all sent to us. But if you do have a suggestion of, you can still do that. If you want to be added to our mailing list,
yes, absolutely.
You can email us at soulfulconvos@gmail.com. That's soulfulconvos@gmail.com. And
use that email address. I'm sorry I gave y'all info at the battle station.
Yeah, use that.
I'm so used to giving that one out. But please listen to Mr. Frank.
Yeah, use that email address and, just let us know. We want to keep the dialogue going, and we want to do our best to try to continue stirring soulful conversations, that you can enjoy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what we're here for. We enjoy just in reading some of the topics and discussions and, that kind of stuff some of it was very humorous.
It was, but I think a lot of what was recommended to us are community-based conversations.
Yeah, it was.
And we're really focused on intimate conversations.
Yeah.
And so it's not that we're not going to get to it. We absolutely love the feedback, and we're grateful that people want to know our thoughts about certain things that are happening community-wide, just like the Will and Jada thing. But our focus is these intimate conversations between you and your partner. And so we want to encourage that. We want you to take good care of yourselves and each other. Of course, if you want to reach out to us, we always welcome that. Please share this podcast. Please share this with someone that you know, someone that you love. Share it with other couples. And again, we want to be really clear that we are not isolating ourselves to married couples.
Right.
If you are in a relationship with a person that you love, these podcasts, these episodes are for you. They are not, and we've had to clarify that these are not just for married folks. Yes. If you're in love, if you're working your way towards love,
towards a relationship,
these episodes are for you. So enjoy.
Yeah. So, I mean, even the single folks, I mean, if you desire a relationship, I mean, this is hopefully something you can pick up in there, and put into practice as you go toward that direction.
As you're in the dating zone. Yes, absolutely.
So, so that, lastly, I want to shout out, I don't know the number, but to our listeners in Germany.
Well, all right now for Germany and for South South Africa.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yes. So South Africa, Germany, and
It was one other place
I can't think of right now. So thank you for tuning in, and please continue to share this podcast, this work that we do, that we love, with others. If it resonates with you, then someone in your circle can also benefit.
Right. So this is Soulful Conversation with Frank and Sheila. We hope you've enjoyed this episode. We look forward to talking to you again very soon. So
take care, family, and be well.
Be well.
Bye, family.